Hello BB Gangsters, this is Calvin, also known as Romer, and this is my first ever playthrough of Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, and I have thought about this game all weekend. Usually I don't record Saturdays or Sundays, I record from Monday to Friday, and it gives you some time to think about like whatever game we're playing over the weekend. And I've also talked about it with you guys, whether it be on Twitter or whether it be in the comment section or even on my Patreon. I've talked to like people about this game a lot. And the general consensus I found with this game is a lot of people think this trial is crazy. And I think so too. And I think I've expressed that through this whole trial, that this trial is like, you know, every single episode we do of this trial, I am like losing it. It is one of the trials that I feel like every single time a piece of evidence comes into light, the entire face of the trial changes. Like, the entire face of the trial changes. I also personally think that Maki is being treated poorly in this trial. And even if he's a murder suspect, right? He still should have the right to defend himself, regardless of his language barriers, regardless if he's blind, regardless of anything. I still think he should have a right to defend himself. So I feel really bad for Maki, and I'm hoping that that's the motivation for me. I want to get, like, not only is it like, oh yeah, I love this game, I love playing it. I do love playing this game, I love playing it. I also want to get Maki free from all charges. Get Maki free. Get Maki free. Yeah, let's keep going with this. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. That's when I heard them, Mr. Lithouse and the detective. So you heard both of them talking. Or, well, okay, we might press that statement as well, just because it's like, okay, what did you hear them say? I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and stopped. Then I heard another gunshot. So she heard like, pew, pew. Okay. There's a smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but I've never actually smelled gunpowder, but I can imagine that it is a strong smell. I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window. Okay, I might press this statement as well because, like, I'm not sure, like, again, I'm really not sure of the layout of the small window. I don't think I understand, like, where the small window leads to. Is it on the outside of the hall? It's not, because it's on the opposite side. So where is that in the building? Okay, that's it. Okay.
Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony.
I'm sorry. I'm not used to speaking much in this language. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yet everything I've said here is the truth.
It is my distinctest pleasure to say this. What you've said to have happened is impossible.
Tell us why it's impossible. Do I have to repeat myself? Lamiroir was attacked because of this testimony. Also, I'm very like glad that like a lot of you guys just agree. Like they're like you were saying that, like, because I felt like a bit crazy for a bit when I was saying like, why has no one mentioned the fact that like they didn't carry, that he couldn't carry the body like of this grown man all the way there, and especially when they thought he was blind at one point. And it's like, all of you guys are like, yeah, that doesn't make much sense at all. Which to me is like made me feel less crazy, because I honestly felt like I was going crazy. I really did feel like I was going crazy. Because that's why I'm bringing it up here because he's like, your testimony doesn't make any sense. To me, at the end of the day, the thing that will always, like, if you're in a trial, and the thing that would always, like, to me instantly disprove that Maki did anything is the fact that, like, he could not physically carry that 6-foot-something man at his height and size, smaller than Trucy. Could not shoot the gun because of the recoil. It would destroy his shoulder. And he could not carry this man in the dark all the way to his scissor lift, put him on the scissor lift, then go over to the scissor lift, somehow turn it on, run over to the scissor lift, lie beside him, put the guitar on him, and then fall asleep. Do you know how much a guitar weighs, like, at all? Like, it's not light, especially like a good guitar weighs quite a bit. So you're talking about that and a man, especially dead weight. What, Trucy? Apollo, you know, for a moment there, you were pretty cool. Oh my god! Thank you. That's a pretty nice moment, isn't it? Maybe I do better when I don't try to think ahead. Same.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Perhaps you can cross-examine the witness.
Okay, so second statement, last statement are the ones we're going to press first for sure. What I heard. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage edge because there's nothing wrong with this. When I heard the Mr. Lithouse and the detective, press this. Jerry and Crescend? I did not know his name at the time, but yes, it was him, the one who took the stand yesterday.
How many times do I need to remind you that that's impossible?
We're not talking about impossibilities anymore because you're not bringing up a big impossibility.
There was no way you could have heard him.
The headset, because the window at the scene was closed. Is that why?
Of course.
Apollo, if you keep asking the same questions as yesterday, we won't get anywhere.
He's right.
Oh, she's right. Maybe there's a different angle I could take. So we could say, yes, maybe we could say that, like... Oh, we asked this. What were they talking about? This is exactly what we asked. We were like, what were you talking about? Yeah. Lamiroir, do you have any chance to remember what they were saying to each other? If so, please tell us. I've given it much reflection, but... I was afraid of this. She doesn't remember. I only heard one phrase clearly. A whole phrase?
You remember something that was said?
Why didn't you say anything yesterday? I actually do like that, like, because this is his friend, it's actually made him a little bit more fallible and, like, honestly made Clavier, like, a little bit more, like, messy with the trial. I feel like he's, like, very, like, about, like, I have to get this conviction no matter what. Which adds to his character. It's like, you know, it just means that he's not just, like, this stone cold person who, like, has a one-track mind, you know? Though my memory is clear, I was afraid to speak. You see, I do not understand what was said. This could be it. The clue I've been waiting for. Well, what did he say? It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Lataus. The shooter then, Darian Crescent.
Well, what did he say?
It's over. Press the switch, now. We have a switch. We have a switch. Not an Nintendo Switch. This? The remote trigger.
Switch? And the shooter said this to the victim, Mr. Lataus?
I thought it quite strange, myself afterwards.
It is a mystery. What could it possibly mean? Mr. Justice, care to shed some light on this?
Sure. I'd be delighted. It's very vital. Maybe we could add that to the testimony? Maybe. Apollo? So, is this what we have to present then? Because they definitely want us to present this, yeah. Whenever they change it.
Objection!
Awesome. Press the switch. There's only one key that can lock a mystery of those words.
Oh? Yet there was nothing at the scene that could be called a switch. Save the lights.
True, there wasn't a switch at the scene. But it just so happens, I have a switch right here.
That certainly doesn't look like a switch, doesn't it?
The problem is, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on the stage, in the piano. Where the concert was held, yes. This was found hidden there.
On the stage. Are you claiming that the voice Lamiroir heard? Was someone commanding another to press the switch?
It's a possibility.
Objection! Oh, forehead, I'd call that an impossible. Okay, why? Why? It's hardly necessary to remind you the court of the layout of the concert forum. The stage is quite far from Lamiroir's dressing room, not to mention that the Gaviniers were in the middle of a concert on said stage. We aren't known for being a quiet band.
See, I'm chalking Clavier not knowing that they had headsets in the building. I'm chalking that up to him, again, not wanting his friend to go to prison. That's what I'm chalking it up to.
You could shout all you wanted and not be heard.
I'm chalking it up to the fact that he should know there's headsets there, but I'm genuinely think that he's trying like his best to make sure his friend doesn't go to prison. The detective's voice was loud, but certainly not a shout.
So too have Herr Forehead's cries possibility fallen far short of being heard.
Sorry, but he wouldn't have had to. He needed to shout.
Excuse me.
You heard what I said? Or do you need me to shout it out for you? It would have been quite simple to be heard on the stage from the dressing room. Oh wait, you like evidence, don't you? How about this? Using this, it would be easy to get a message to someone on the stage from the dressing room. Get him, Apollo. Get him, Apollo. Get him, Apollo. And I'm glad you all agree as well, like a few of you agree as well, that Apollo is definitely more plucky at this here right there, the headset. Plucky was a great word that was used to describe it. Prosecutor Gavin, perhaps you're familiar with this?
Why, that's... What is it? Is that some kind of newfangled phone they invented while I wasn't looking? While you weren't looking? Like not looking at the world.
This is a type of transmitter, a communication device.
A communication device?
From what I heard that night, everyone on stage was wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Gavin?
Ah, yes, actually, they're for talking between band members. We all had one on.
So you admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from the backstage to the stage would be simple.
True, but wait, those send out electronic signal. To avoid interference with the audio systems, their range is quite limited.
Lamiroir said there was about 30 feet, right? We already established that it was 30 feet from the stage. We already established that. Look at this cross-section diagram of the concert forum. Ah, exactly. The walk from the stage to the backstage seems far, but the direct distance is less than 30 feet. That can't be! Yeah. It can be. It can very much be, because it is.
So when Lamiroir heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on stage.
Trucy's out, but Trucy's actually quite tall, or maybe Paul's quite short.
You're claiming this is the switch in question? Why did it have to be on the stage at that time? It could have been placed in a pocket and carried anywhere.
Someone could have hit it on the stage after the fight. What are you even talking about? Hey, he's got a point. Trucy. How do you know it was when he heard the voice? Here's the thing, though, right? A lot of the Maki crime stuff was about just like the circumstances of the situation, right? Like, oh, he's the only one who could fit in the vent. He's the only one who could do this. He's the only one who could do that. He's the one who disappeared. He wasn't on stage. If we're doing it that way, then it works both ways. We could just say, well, how else? What other switch would they be referring to? It just makes sense, right? What other switch could you refer to? That's the only switch in question. You know? So it goes both ways. When the shooter said press the switch, well, I guess we don't... No, it should go both ways. If you could say that, like, of course it's him because he was in the vent, then I could say, of course it's the switch because the switch was mentioned and the switch was found at the place.
I feel as we know where the switch was, there's little point in...
A switch was found in a building where there was a crime. There was a crime in the building, a murder in the building. A woman has heard that a switch was used. We found a switch in the building, and we're not going to debate it. I'm sure there's that was the way to go with this. Apollo, I agree with you. I think it's worth at least looking into, like at least pressing the switch or having like having a remote like a bomb squad or something press the switch and see what it activates, or see or someone take it apart and see what it activates.
What is this switch anyway? We don't even know what that basic fact.
Wait a second. I do know what this switch is. And if you follow that train of logic, to its incredible conclusion, it ends up being proof that it completely changes his case. What's up, Apollo? We know about this switch, right? We know what it is. Yeah. Well, think of it when it was used that day. Think of what happened. The fire in the guitar?
Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further information to share concerning this switch...
Your Honor, it had to have been the switch because I say so. Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Justice?
I've been remiss in not telling the court this before. I know what the switch is.
Well, it seems the defense is set upon linking the switch to the case.
We're set upon... The way you said that...
You're set upon this, I guess. I guess we're doing the switch thing.
Maki, you were ready to sentence Maki to prison and then death, by the way, because he was going to get sent home and killed. You were ready to do that on the basis that he's the only one who could fit an event. Don't blink at me like this. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Luke Atomy. Luke Atomy, that's his name. I get it. No, I'm joking. That's it. Forget.
What evidence do you have to explain that the switch is?
It's this thing, right? Where is it? Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this...
That's... The what? Now, this is just circumstantial. We cannot prove that the switch is a switch that connects to this. So, but the vent, let's go with it. There's another one of those newfangled phones.
This is an igniter. What phones look like this?
Igniter? You mean it's like a lighter?
Yes, actually.
You aren't saying the switch is a remote?
I am. This is a remote trigger for an igniter.
What?
Look, I'll show you.
Ow! Mr. Justice, you will cease and desist from burning down this courtroom.
Make me cease and desist. Sorry, that was a bit more fire than I expected.
If my whiskers are caught on fire?
I'd actually love to see you without a beard. That'd be really funny. Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. This switch is a remote igniter trigger. Doesn't that suggest something to you?
You're talking about what happened to me, aren't you? Well, what about the vent, Air Forehead? Ever think of that?
I'm sorry, I'm like, the moment we get Maki free of these charges, the moment, I am literally going to jump for joy. I need this kid out of prison. I need this kid out of maximum security prison as soon as possible. Exactly. That night at the concert, there was an unusual burst of flame. So apparently people were saying as well they show that cutscene a lot. People were like, yeah, they show that cutscene so much. Wasn't that part of the stage show though? Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware that such a thing had been planned. And the guitar that burned was a valuable keepsake. That's right. He got in the Borginia, got in it in Borginia from the Lamiroir. Okay, sorry, that's my bad. He said the sound was amazing before it burned, of course. Now it just kind of smokes.
The better the guitar, the brighter it burns. Okay. Air Forehead.
Yes?
Don't tell me you're trying to tie these two things.
What do you mean? Don't tell me.
Those being the shooter's voice heard by Lamiroir, and the guitar suddenly catching on fire.
We have proven that she heard Darian's voice. We have proven that it was possible for her to hear through the headset. We are now proving that there was a switch at the scene of the crime. We're now proving that there's something that activates a switch that also your guitar set on fire. This is what you call actual evidence, my friend. Not, oh, he could fit an event. I am. It's really simple when you think about it. I feel like Apollo was fantastic. I feel like this is one of those times that Apollo has literally just like followed the through line. Like there's literally a line and he's followed every single beat on it. From A to B. From A to Z actually, and he's picked up every letter along the way, and it all actually makes sense. Everything makes sense about it, because now it makes sense why there was a witness. Now it makes sense why he was able to hear the voice. She was able to hear the voice. Now it makes sense why the guitar went on fire. We know that it actually activated the fire. Mr. Towson and the shooter were at the crime scene. The shooter was wearing a headset. He ordered someone on stage to press the switch. The switch was pressed and the guitar caught fire.
Well, that does seem to make sense. Though something about this is bugging me. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Really? It seems pretty simple to me.
F4, don't destroy what little respect I have for you. If you want to talk about respect being destroyed, we can talk about this after, Clavier. I was expecting something a little more sensible. I guess I was wrong.
Okay, explain to me how a 14-year-old boy carried a body of a bodyguard, a big, gigantic Interpol police officer, onto a stage, onto a scissor lift, and then fell unconscious afterwards. Explain to me right now. Explain to me that. Explain to me that situation right now. Explain to me. Explain to me that situation. Explain to me. Explain to me. Explain to me right now. Explain to me that situation. You cannot hurt me. You will never hurt me.
What is this all about, Prosecutor Gavin?
His simple story simply makes no sense.
Think, that night my guitar caught on fire, yes. Oh god. The cause may have been this indeed.
May have been.
However, the guitar caught on fire during the second set.
That's right, of course.
Indeed, yet the shooting happened during the third set. The two are utterly unrelated.
I disagree. Oh my god, I already disagree. Okay, hear me out. 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 Right? Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Right? We know that the stage is, hear me out with this. The stage is 30 feet away from the dressing rooms. Lamiroir didn't just actually disappear. Sorry, Trucy. Sorry, Trucy, she didn't actually just disappear. Hear me out. Right? She heard Darian say this. Right? Because she went through a trap door of some kind. Or some sort of passageway. Because, again, sorry, Trucy, cover your ears, Trucy, and any other magic lovers. She didn't actually disappear. To make that trick happen, she would have to have gone somewhere. Valent, Uncle Valent probably did that. It's Valent, isn't it? Uncle Valent probably did that. So that means she would have to be close to the dressing room and be wearing a headset at the time, which would make sense. If you're doing a performance, you would put on the headset just to be like, okay, do your cue, do your cue. And it set on fire as she went up there and then reappeared. So I'm thinking, look at this. Look at this. She went through the floor here, near the dressing rooms, then up to the platform here. They're purposely showing the platform here. That's my thought process on this. So no. No. Sorry, it is Valent. Isn't it Uncle Valent? Yeah.
Yes, that must have been what was bugging me. The whole premise for this is faulty.
Don't be talking about faulty premises here now, Judge. You were ready to convict someone earlier for a very faulty premise.
His story makes no sense.
Let's go, Apollo. Let's go. Are you sure about that?
What exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice?
Maybe it's not the premise for my explanation on of the switch that's at fault. Maybe it's our premise for the entire case so far. Well, the trial keeps changing every 2 minutes, so yes.
What premise is this specifically?
I'm glad you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place in the third act. Oh, maybe he has a different thought process than I had.
What's this? The detective Emma Sky heard the shots and found the body. All this happened in the third act.
Gunshots rang out. And according to this testimony, Maki was in the dressing room at the time.
Where did you go with this, Mr. Justice?
Stay with me, Your Honor. He also told us this in his testimony, namely that the victim had already been shot. We all heard the gunshots, but no one saw the shooting.
This is insane.
Just before the shooting took place, the shooter was heard on the headset, telling someone to press the switch. The next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flames. We know that a remote triggered igniter was inside the guitar. From all these facts, we can draw only one conclusion. The crime did not take place during the third act. Wait, really? But during the ballad performance, the second act. Oh yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree with this. What? Okay, I agree with this then, yeah? That's fine, I'll agree with this. Order. I'm still very confused in some cases, but we'll go with it.
But that goes against the evidence.
Judge. Please don't talk to me about evidence, please.
What does, Your Honor? This crime was carried out according to the lyrics of that song, yes?
Hey, he's right. Look. The bullet is supposed to come after the fire. You're thinking about it the wrong way, huh? Go on, Apollo. Look, why would the shooter craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyway? It's an awful lot of trouble to go through, with little merit for the person doing it.
Well, I'm sure whoever it was had some reason.
Yes, they did. A reason that made it advantageous to follow the lyrics.
You're saying the order was reversed on purpose? Reverse, Prosecutor Gavin.
Wait a second. If the criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes. The shooting would have had come after the guitars. But wait, are they saying it's going to be in reverse? So the guitar up to the sky. Oh my god, okay. If it's a reverse, the guitar went up to the sky. That's when he got lifted up with the guitar. Then it said it got set on fire. Then it wraps around me and now I fly through the air. What is that? Okay, maybe not. And then the keys are stole away from me. Maybe I'm wrong with that. I thought it was like in actual reverse.
Yet our forehead has raised another possibility. He's claiming that the bullet came not after, but just before the fire.
Couldn't have put it better myself. We were only meant to think that the shooting came after the guitars burst into flames. That was the criminal's objective. The crime followed the lyrics to a point, but that was the ruse. Why else would the killer risk discovery by moving the body? And like, again, look at this. Can someone look at how big this dude is? This dude is a massive dude. This dude is like 3 times the size of me just in height and bulk. His shoulders are so broad, you could literally put an island on each of them. Like, and then look at Maki. Maki is like so little that his frilly little outfit is like extra frilly. Like, that was the final touch to make us think he followed the lyrics to a whole way. Look at this, and he has a freaking gigantic epiphone. Oh. Order. That would explain this most unusual situation. It does. The killer changed the order of events to create himself an alibi. In other words, the killer was someone who had an alibi for the 3rd set, but not the 2nd.
I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but sadly it has. What about the vent? The vent. Let me tell you why your little fairy tale makes no sense at all.
Do not talk about fairy tales in front of Trucy.
Oh, it sounds good, I'll give you that.
The judge goes, okay, well, he's convicted.
You've given us a reason why the killer bothered following the lyrics of my song. But I question your logic, for it's flawed from the very beginning.
You wouldn't know anything about flawed logic, would you guys? Flawed?
Yes, a contradiction there, forehead. One I've pointed out several times, no less.
I wish I could point out one contradiction.
At the time of the crime, the small window that scene was closed. How could Lamiroir have heard the voice through it?
Oh.
I know that you would like to divert attention from the critical fact, but you're basing your entire line of reasoning on a false premise.
So she didn't have a headset on. Lamiroir's testimony is my entire case. That voice she heard, the shooter's voice. What if she couldn't hear it, Apollo? Look, what we do have. A man saying press the switch, and near the crime scene we have a switch, which acts as a remote trigger for an igniter. And last but not least, Prosecutor Gavin's flaming guitar. It can't all be coincidence, but how do I make it work? What? But I feel like it's pretty cut and dry. I feel like in any court of law, we would have at least gotten Maki free now. Maki would be gone. He would not be up for like any jail sentencing whatsoever. That's my perspective anyway. You guys can give your opinion on it too, but that's my perspective on this.
When the crime scene was investigated immediately after the crime, that window was closed. Care to tell us how Lamiroir heard the voice?
A key point to be sure. Mr. Justice, can you explain this to the court?
So yeah, she wasn't... Yeah, like we said, she had to do a freaking disappearing act. So she would have been like somewhere like closer to like a trap door or something. You've got one thing. Lamiroir heard a voice, and she heard it during the 2nd set. Think, how was Lamiroir able to hear the voice? The window's open. She was she was somewhere else. That's the only answer that even makes sense. She was investigating the scene. The window was closed. The shooter had no reason to close it, had it been open either, meaning it was impossible to hear the voice through that window.
It's good to hear you making sense again. Now, on to the vent. For a moment, I was afraid you might be a Borginian too.
Okay, dude. All right. Offhand comment, number 25. As I was saying, Lamiroir could not hear the voice through the window. So there can be only one explanation. She heard the voice from another location entirely.
What's this? You do amuse me so.
And here I thought you and good sense were back on speaking terms.
Now I'm afraid you and good sense speak two entirely different languages. Shall I interpret for you, Air Forehead?
Lamiroir clearly stated she heard the voice through that small window, and there was only one small window at the scene.
Are you sure? Think about it. Isn't there another small window at the scene? There is? Where's the other small window?
I know, look, he wants us to ask him. Very well, you claim Lamiroir's...
The judge gets it.
You claim Lamiroir heard the voice from another location. Mr. Justice, show us where this location was.
Lamiroir heard the voice from... another window? Oh. So yeah, it was kind of like a trapdoor situation. Yeah. There we go.
Does this look like a small window to you, Mr. Justice?
The state of modern society can be read from numerous objects and artifacts. In a sense, anything can be a window on our society. Yeah, so Phoenix, Apollo's one of those people that's like, it's a pizza if it has tomato sauce on it. And you know what? Speak your truth, Apollo. You do what you need to do.
I didn't ask you to point out a window on society. I want a window on the crime scene.
Oh. Okay, so it's not the vent. Well, I feels dumb. And the small window, well, we know what was closed. There's only one other thing she could have meant. Lama heard the voice from here. It's not giving us like an indication. Oh my god, you can do it from here. Wait. Hold on a second. Here. Maybe it's not here. Maybe it's this one here. I didn't know you could move from here. Maybe it's this one here, because that's the only other thing that makes sense. You couldn't treat. There's no other window. There's no other window. Okay. So, but I thought they said she couldn't. Okay, we'll try it. But they said she couldn't fit it because there's no other like little, you know, because we would have seen it. We'd have been directed towards in the case so far. This is where Lamiroir heard that voice from.
But that's no small window. That's the air vent.
In fairness, now, Judge, the other vents were air vents too. But I guess we have to find the specific one. What did she tell us? She said a Borginian unfamiliar with our language. It's not a stretch to imagine she called this air vent a small... No. No. This is why we need, like, Gumshoe to come in here, or Emma, at crime scenes with the person who's a supposed witness and have them point out stuff at the crime scene. You know, especially if they don't speak English or foreign language, be like, so you look through here? Or like, show her a diagram. Where were you standing?
Objection!
I have something in my eye. It's actually terrible.
Now you've done it. You've gone beyond ridiculous into ludicrous. So Lama was up in the ventilation system listening to that man's voice?
That was the only logical explanation, yes.
Logical? I do not think this word means what you think it means, therefore it.
Okay, what about it isn't logical?
It hardly merits saying. Why would Lamiroir be in the ventilation system, hiding like a rat? No offense intended to her, of course.
The explanation for that is simple, Prosecutor Gavin. Isn't it, Lamiroir? You have been listening to our discussion here, yes? Yes. I admit it, it's had me quite confused since yesterday. Yes, the small window was closed, but why should that mean I could not hear through... My girl, you're amazing, but speak up. Speak up. Please, in future, say, hey, why wouldn't I be able to hear through it? I fear the prosecutor might himself need an interpreter. Okay, get him. Get him. Own that guy. That guy got owned. The problem here is words. Lamiroir, the small window through which you heard the voice. Was it up high on the ceiling on the roof, not low on the wall? Yes, it was up on the ceiling. Oh my god, I don't think we've ever seen him like this. Jesus Christ.
Order, order, I will have order.
Oh, that's like end case. Okay, good.
Witness, you will clarify the statement to the court. Are you in fact saying that you were up above the ceiling of the room? And that's where you heard the moment of the crime?
Yes, in fact, I was. I'm sorry I never imagined it would become such an important point. Here's the thing, right? Now, we have to go, like a maths, we always talk about math equations. At least in like the Irish system. If you get the first part wrong, you can still get points for the rest of it, right? So we have to go with the equation that she had here on the maths equation, is that she believed that we were talking, when we said vent, we were talking about something entirely different from what she was in. So when she heard that Maki was the only person that could fit into a vent, she was like, well, what the hell's a freaking vent? So that's why she didn't speak up and say, actually, I could also fit into the vent. Yes, well, why the heck were you up there? For the thing?
I believe it's time for another testimony.
I'm not sure I can't.
May I remind you, this is a murder trial. We will hear your testimony. Tell us why you witnessed the crime from above the ceiling of the room.
Yeah, honestly, Lamiroir, you have to, or else Maki's going to prison because these guys are hell-bent on putting this 14-year-old away. Well, looks like I'm on the right track. Yeah. Above the ceiling. Yes, I was above the ceiling when I heard the voice. Oh my god, look at this image. I had heard there was a small window there before. What? I was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I'd heard. As to why I was there, I cannot say. We know why you were there. I know why you're there. I'm bound to secrecy on this matter. Wait, no. Is she bound to secrecy because she can't tell a magician's tricks? Is that, like, I think that's adorable, but still at the same time, that's insane if that's the case. I have three statements I want to press there.
Bound to secrecy?
In my line of work, one has many obligations to uphold.
But you say you were in the middle of your performance. So did this happen during the second set?
I did not witness the crime, you must understand. I only knew what I heard.
Yes, but you must tell us what you were doing in the detail.
That's what the cross-examination is for, yeah, forehead? Our mission in this court is to discern the truth. No obligation, no binding pact may hinder that mission.
Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination.
What are you going to do, Apollo? Trucy, winging her prayer. I'm going to find out the truth. And that, I guess. She was up above the ceiling for a reason. I just have to get it out of her. Yes, I was above the ceiling. So it was the second one I wanted to press first of all. So second... Well, I don't know what the other numbers are, but... By small window, you mean the air vent? I only remember I needed to be careful of where I put my hands and feet. I cannot see the light coming through the window. Of course.
The air vent would could trip you up, certainly.
So I was walking very carefully when I heard the gunshots. Startled, I crouched and listened. That is when I heard this voice come from the room. Darian's voice. I knew something terrible had happened, yet... Okay. I was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I had heard. This is... Okay, we have to press the two last statements here. You heard the gunshots during the second set during your performance? You're quite sure? Yes. Why would I lie about the time?
Why didn't you tell us this yesterday?
No one asked me. Okay. Okay. We're just gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it. We're gonna move on. I thought you all knew.
I told you
Maki was not the killer. I agree, but you need to help. I told you this many times. She did, but the thing is as well, is like, and I totally get there's a language barrier 100%, and I totally understand that. Like, I think though, if there is a language barrier, I think what should happen is not only should you have an interpreter, but that knows the English language extremely well to a point that they are completely fluent, but you should also have someone there who is like independently, like from any aspect of this trial, being like, oh, this is what they said. Is this what you meant? Is this what you meant? And have a conversation with them, sit down with them and have a full conversation with her. Because I feel like this is a problem with not just her, this was us as well. Like, we should have had to sit down when we were there in the actual building with her. We should have been like, here's the diagram. Where were you? What time was this? What, everything, you know what I mean? Like, and confirmed everything, you know? Yes, you did. But you never told us why. I'm sorry. I was not able to speak of it. Unable or unwilling. She's not talking, Apollo. What do we do? We'll just have to prove it ourselves. As long as she is bound by this pact of silence, she won't talk, so it has to be the magician thing. But if we can prove what she was up to, she'll have to admit it. But how are we going to do that? She was singing on stage, Apollo. She couldn't have been up on the ceiling too. Trucy, if you don't want to hear the magic ain't... I'm not even going to say it in front of you. Like, block your ears. Yes, she could. I've got a theory as to why too, and maybe I've got the evidence to prove it.
Oh, Trucy ain't gonna like this.
I'm bound to secrecy on this matter. Let's press this as well. Exactly who bound you to secrecy? I'm not sure I'm allowed to say who it was. No, I think perhaps that is all right. It's just the name, after all. It was
There we go. Perfect.
It was Valent Gramarye. Perhaps you know him?
Valent Gramarye? What?
You mean Uncle Valent?
What? Valent Gramarye? Who's Valent Gramarye?
A grand magician, the one responsible for the illusion performed during our concert. Interesting reaction, Prosecutor Gavin. Lamiroir is bound to secrecy. It's gonna take some hard-hitting proof to make her talk. I think I know why she was up there, but how do I prove it? So, it's going to take evidence. So either on the 4th or the 5th statement we need to press something, I believe. Because we know that this was Valent. As to why it was there, I cannot say. So we present something that's to do with the actual performance as well. And to be honest, the only thing we have really is either is the tape. Yeah, the tape. Nothing else really is about the performance. Yeah. Like, they're about the performance, but they're not, like, directly tied to what the trick is. Yeah. I'm fine with that. Lamiroir, truth be told, the reason your presence above that ceiling is quite clear. Especially when you consider what happened during your performance. What happened? Yes, it's all right here. It's all right here on this video. Here we go. I haven't seen this performance yet. Honestly, like, I personally don't mind seeing this over and over again because, like, it's so different from what usually happens. So this to me is trapdoor, right? Like, she goes there's a trapdoor on the scissor lip, but hey, how does that work though? Yeah, there's 2 trapdoors. You can see the trapdoors there. But how the trapdoor scissor lifting? That's insane. As you can see, Lamiroir was clearly not on stage for her entire performance. I love that they paused the music and then he's just like, okay, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Though it saddens me to be so realistic, Lamiroir was incapable of actually vanishing, let alone block your ears, Trucy. So the only explanation is that she was hidden from view, and during that time she moved to the back of the forum. Apollo! What, Trucy? It's not nice to reveal a magician's secrets, and it's against the rules. I'm so sorry, Trucy. I'm actually heartbroken that I had to do this in front of you. But I'm a lawyer, I'm not supposed to be nice. Wow. I mean, maybe, yeah. I think it's about finding the truth, isn't it?
This is all very fascinating, but how is it possible? There was only 20 seconds between when she disappeared and reappears.
20 seconds is a lot for a stage trick, for a magician trick. Would you guys agree? I think 20 seconds is a lot. Like, because usually, like, when I watch, like, if you ever watch, like, Britain's Got Talent disappearing acts, like, they reappear in, like, 2 seconds with editing and sort of stuff. I imagine that, like, 20 seconds is more than enough time for a practice show to get to the place you need. Like, if you think of it, you drop down through a trapdoor, you walk through a vent, you hear the gunshots. So you'd have to, like, okay, 20 seconds maybe not a lot of time, actually, now when I think about hearing the Darien say that as well. So hearing Darien say the thing, and then you keep moving.
She could not move that fast.
Clavier is sweating. Is something wrong, Prosecutor Gavin? This was his concert, his show. He knows how the illusion was performed.
Aha!
He's just realizing his own oversight. Oh, that's good. That's good, seeing Clavier feeling like any way like this. Let's look at the cross-section diagram again. Here we can trace a route through the ceiling. It goes from the stage, through the backstage to the rear of the forum. Recall Lamiroir's testimony from yesterday. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it.
She went from the stage to the backstage exit? A perfect description of this route above the ceiling.
Lamiroir knew of this because of her part of the illusion. But she wasn't the only one who knew. What? Just now in the lobby, Maki told me something. I know if I opening the vent, I can leave stage and backstage. I even forgot about this part, I'll be honest. Thank you, Maki. You said that? Oh, were you not informed, Prosecutor Gavin? Oh, I love when Apollo can be cheeky. I love cheeky Apollo.
I knew about the vanishing act, of course. Yet I had no idea of the route that would be used. Why didn't the magician tell me?
Magicians only reveal details or acts on the need-to-know basis. They're the bread and butter of a magician's life, you know? Which is why he bound Lamiroir to secrecy. Well, Lamiroir, I'm impressed, Mr. Attorney. Maki was right about you. They were right about you.
So, what does this mean? Are you saying you used the route above the ceiling?
I did.
Well, that's that, but I'm still a little confused.
Why is that, Your Honor? Oh god, not this music! Not this music!
As I said before, there was very little time between when she disappeared and then she reappeared. 20 seconds, tops. How could you do it so fast? Especially if you stopped to hear the shooter's voice.
That's a good question. Oh god. I cannot.
Very well, Mr. Justice.
Yes?
It's all up to you. Do your thing.
Oh, do your thing from the judge. What thing, Your Honor? I love this sprite with the hair. It makes him look like a Looney Tunes character in the best way possible.
You need to explain how Lamiroir was able to teleport like she did, or I'm throwing your case in out with the bathwater.
Okay then, but afterwards you have to explain how a freaking little boy carried a big gigantic 6-foot man. Why do I get picked on? It's Lamiroir isn't going along with the program here. As I've stated before, I'm not at liberty to speak of this illusion that night in detail. If you do not speak of the illusion in detail, Maki is going to prison. I need you to understand this. If you do not explain how it worked, Maki is going to prison and then he will die. He will be deported and killed. I need you to understand this, Lamiroir. He will be killed.
Then you'll just have to tell us what you can. Well, hear your testimony on this. Mr. Justice, it will be your job to wring the truth out of her.
Yes, if you would, please. Maki will be killed, Lamiroir. I adore you. I adore the characters in this trial. But I'm not having Maki die for a magician's trick. It's not happening. Right. I feel like a student before finals. Good luck, Apollo. The big illusion. I followed the route exactly as I was instructed. There's an emergency exit in the backstage where a stagehand waited. From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side of the stage. The plan was for me to move in there in 2 minutes. So we have a time. I was on my way when I heard the voice. So there's a 2-minute time limit.
2 minutes, you say? That mystery deepens.
I suppose it was too much to hope that the judge would come up with something.
As does my curiosity. Take it away, Mr. Justice.
Right, Your Honor. All I have to do is find the contradiction between Lamiroir, what Lamiroir is saying. Like, and here's the thing. You might be like, oh, Calvin, you're a bit harsh on Lamiroir. Maybe you'll agree. Like, for me, if, like, 2 months down the line, when Maki gets sent back to Virginia, and then they find that he had the silk on him from the evidence, and he's killed, is she going to be like, well, at least I didn't reveal the magician's secret? You know? Like, do you guys get what I'm saying with this? This is a... Yeah. And what, because he's plainly in video? I figured out already, I'm a magician after all. Well, tell me. Not a chance. I can't reveal another magician's secret, come on. Hey, you're supposed to be on my side here. I followed the route exactly as I was instructed. Okay. How did you proceed along this route? How? Why, I walked. But you arrived behind the forum match. That wasn't me by being like shocked by what she said, by the way. I literally like moved away from the mic for a second to do a little bit of a eye fix. Would you ride behind the forum too fast to have been walking? Tell the truth, Lamiroir. You rode some kind of vehicle. What, a vehicle?
What a novel idea, I like it.
Hey, that's not a bad guess. Wrong, but not bad. Yes, laugh at the dumb attorney, I don't mind. I'm sorry, but the girl is right. The vent was much too small for vehicles. Okay. I was a tight fit, even I had to crouch as I walked. I can't imagine a vehicle. We know what a vehicle is. If it wasn't a vehicle, then what was it?
You got me going for a while there, Mr. Justice. Too bad. Ready for the next part?
Why do I feel like I'm on some kind of quiz show? Sometimes it feels like that, I hear. There's an emergency exit backstage where a stagehand waited. From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side of the stage. I guess we'll press this. So when you came back out, you were behind the audience. Yes, that is how it worked.
Not a bad show if I do say so myself.
That's Uncle Valen for you, the old Grammar touch.
But on the video you were only gone for 20 seconds. How is that possible?
That's the part I don't get either. Huh, yes, it would be hard to go so far in only 20 seconds. Please stop saying that. please stop saying that, please. 2 minutes? Yes, it can be done in 1 minute if you are running. Running? In that cramped dark tunnel above the ceiling? Huh. Mr. Attorney, have you forgotten? Dark or lit, it makes no difference to me. True. That's true, but...
So you're saying that on the night of the concert you made that trip in 2 minutes?
Yes, though I nearly didn't make it in time. You see, I stopped halfway. Lamiroir disappears on the video for 20 seconds, but she says she made the trip in 2 minutes. How? Is there editing in the video? If you want my professional opinion, I bet there's an answer right there in the video.
Well, then, Mr. Justice, perhaps you'll have some evidence for us?
Huh?
Someone explain the discrepancy between the video and her testimony?
Evans explained the discrepancy? What? I guess? There's one piece of evidence that explains the discrepancy between the video and the testimony. What do you mean? What are we trying to do here? Like, lyric sheet, no. Okay, process of elimination here of what we haven't presented yet. No, we've presented, no. It's not this. It's not this, of course. It's not this. Okay. It's not this. It could be this. That's a possibility. Not this. Not this. Not this. Not. No, because we just presented this. Not this. Not this. Not this. Could be this. Not this. Not this. This here, the brooch found at the crime scene, turns out belongs to Lamiroir. So, okay. I don't think it's any of these either. So we're saying brooch, key, or stage diagram. We could do all three, but then we only have one chance to not fail again, and that's not fun. I'm eliminating this. And the reason I'm eliminating this is because it doesn't show any discrepancy. You know what I mean? It doesn't show any discrepancy whatsoever. So we have to find out why it was 2 minutes of her to get to the stagehand, right? It was 2 minutes to get to the stagehand. So we're saying keys, and the reason I say keys or brooch is because, first of all, the brooch proves that she was in the room at some point, right? The keys you could say that, but I don't think, like, they're not, she didn't take Clavier's keys. We're trying to find a discrepancy between the video and the testimony between 20 seconds and 2 minutes. So we had to find out why they said it was taking 2 minutes for her to get to the stagehand. for someone to get to the stagehand, and it took 20 seconds between the trial and this. The keys to the brooch. But then again, like, this only proves that, to me, like, the brooch and the keys only prove that someone was in the room. It doesn't prove why there was a discrepancy in time. But it's the only things that we can even present that even will be close to this. Because I'm saying if we present the brooch, we can say, well, she was in the room. Or she was near the room. Or it proves that she... Oh, it proves that she did pass over the room. So she did go through the vents. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, that's fine. Lamiroir, do you happen to remember this brooch? That's what we're proving.
The brooch. We saw that yesterday, did we not?
It was found at the scene, Your Honor.
And you're bringing this up now, why? I thought we had already determined when that was dropped.
So did I. But we hadn't. Take another look at the video. See, we saw like a little flame there. Look, it started there. Look, you can see the kind of like little flame started. So maybe this, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a lighting thing. Here you can see she's wearing the brooch. Okay. So she is. Let's look a bit later. Wait. Is she not wearing the brooch? She's not wearing the brooch.
What? The brooch is gone!
What? Yes. The brooch disappeared in the short space in 20 seconds, and it takes a full minute to run from the stage to the backstage. Which means there can only be one explanation. The Lamiroir we see before the Vantage Act and Lamiroir we see at... Wait. What? What? Yes. First time we're ever on the same wavelength, Judge. The brooch was found on the floor of the crime scene, and not just on the floor, but on the floor directly beneath the air vent. Lamiroir, tell me, did you drop the brooch in away from the stage to the backstage? At the very moment you witnessed the crime? Yes, I think I did. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. What is happening?
Prosecutor Gavin!
From your expression, I gather you have no idea this case was the case here, Judge. Of course, I knew about it.
What?
Don't get me wrong, I wasn't hiding it. It just never occurred to me that the switch and the shooting took place at the same time.
So I was right. There was a switch.
There was. Just before the stage tower rose, Lamiroir was replaced.
Wait, who was the replacement? Yeah.
Why, the man behind the illusion
Okay, that would make sense why you kept seeing him like shooting. He was like dashing around the place during the whole concert. It was Lamiroir. That's quite the illusion, but I still don't get one thing. Yes? The switch happened before. Now I know that people like are not okay, so you weren't on stage. That's right. But this fake Lamiroir is still singing. And she's pretty good. Now that I know that like a lot of people were like, yeah, they play that video too many times. Every time I see it now, it's kind of funny.
That's true.
Come on, Apollo, that's an easy one. They were just playing a recording. Yeah, that would make sense.
The Galvanier's on some kind of air guitar band 4-line.
Oh, you mean I'm wrong? Yeah, I still said you couldn't talk to Shrucy, by the way.
When we play a show live, we play live, no recording.
We usually end the video here, but I feel like we should not end the video until we get to the next part of the testimony. We're like in too deep.
Perhaps you can explain, Lamiroir.
Very well. Oh, so we're going again?
Yes. Do tell and add it to your testimony.
Okay, yeah. I'll end the episode when we get to the next change in testimony, not an addition to testimony, because I feel like it's always awkward to end it like during a testimony. I had to keep moving even while singing even while I moved. So she had to like do the performance. Anyway, I thought they were saying that I wasn't recording and like and Lamiroir was singing it. If that was the case, it'd be amazing. Okay, we can press this, I suppose. There's nothing really we can present on this, but we can press this new statement because I don't think there's anything we can present on it. You were singing? Yes. Mr. Gavin expressed a dislike for recordings, so I used this. Which you were singing the whole time? Even when you were crawling above the ceiling towards the backstage? Why should it matter where I sing? Wherever I go, it's the same darkness. So she's all basing on her own life experience.
But if you were singing while you were walking...
That's right. Wouldn't the shooter and victim have heard? She was singing right over their heads after all. That is very strange. That is right.
Are you sure?
That'd be pretty hard of hearing to miss someone singing in the ceiling.
Once again, come back to the state of the crime scene.
What state? I know what he means. That old speaker, Apollo. The speaker? That speaker was blaring at the time of the murder. And that's for monitoring the stage from this room. Monitoring? It pipes in real-time feed from the stage microphones, used for knowing when your set is coming up.
Satisfied? That dressing room was fitted with a large speaker playing a direct feed from the stage. At my request, actually.
So Lamiroir singing in the ceiling? Sounded just like Lamiroir singing over the speakers, so that makes sense. Well done, Trucy. Trucy, well done.
Ingenious, her voice was hidden by her voice.
Lamiroir, I've just remembered something. Oh no. Oh no. When I heard the noise, the gunshots, yes, it startled me, so I stopped singing.
What?
I forgot the words I was supposed to sing, which makes sense. If I hear gunshots, I'm gonna stop singing. Man, if I'm doing a recording and someone shouts on my, in my neighborhood, just it's randomly, or I hear a loud noise, I stop talking for a bit. The song stopped. Thankfully, it was the very beginning of the second verse, so not many would notice.
Forehead, that mixing board I lent you, where is it?
The mixing? Huh? That machine, Apollo. The one that breaks music into tracks. This. I completely forgot about it. Oh, let's take a listen. So we're actually bringing it back. Sugar. Sugar, sugar. This is actually pretty cool. Really cool way of calling it back. We're not controlling, are we? No, we're not.
I'll look a little bucky.
So what's 2 and 5? Oh no, I guess yeah, because it's just guitar, vocals, and piano. And now it's drums. The song does stop there.
I must have missed it.
I missed it too. Look at the lyric sheet. See where it says pleasure, pleasure. Now listen again. When you stole away the keys, to my heart you held onto so tight. Only one Oh, that's actually so smart. It's such a small thing, but it's so smart.
This is evidence indeed. I believe we are guilty of making a terrible mistake.
The crime didn't happen during the third set. It happened during the second, during Lamiroir's ballad.
If that's true, then no one on stage during the second set could have been a shooter.
Which means that Darian Crescent could have done it. He wasn't on stage for the second set. There you go. There you go. Actually, this is, here's the thing. I want to make it clear that, I don't really have a big issue with the trial in terms of quality myself. I think a lot of people feel that the third trial in every single Ace Attorney game is usually a write-off, and then the last trials are usually the best ones, and the first one and the last ones are usually the best ones. Obviously I just think it's crazy, but I really also feel like reveals like this are what makes Ace Attorney special, right? Like the callbacks to previous testimony evidence is what makes the game super, super special.
Fascinating. I don't believe I've ever seen a trial turn around quite so thoroughly. Yet one problem remains.
What's that, Prosecutor Gavin? F4's theory does also have a certain kind of logic to it. Yet it is entirely based on Lamiroir's testimony. Yes, the one witness.
Is there a problem with this?
Well, it's quite simple, though it pains me to say it. What if she is lying to protect the defendant?
But you have no proof.
All I'm saying is that the truth is yet unclear, until we hear directly from the man himself.
The man? You don't mean...
Yes. Though he is a friend and a band member, Darian Crescent must take the stand.
I was just thinking, though, we might apply the same rules where, I think that we won't have him take the stand until, maybe and like a day after he's supposed to, maybe? Like we did with Maki? I'm thinking maybe? Oh wait, he gets special treatment because he's your friend. That's makes he gets to defend himself right away.
I see no other way.
As someone new perspective on this case,
A suspect, to be frank.
There you go. That's all I need. That's all I need, Clavier. That's all I need. Call him what he is. Call him what he is. Finally, the rat's coming out of his hole. And I'm ready to catch him. Jerry and Kristen, get ready for justice.
it's a good time to pause for a brief recess. The prosecution will summon the witness. Have him here and ready by the time we begin.
I'm the last man who needs to be reminding of what his duties are.
Very well, the court is adjourned for a 15-minute recess.
There we go. Yet another part of this trial done, which actually like means that we're just kind of like heading. I would imagine that we're heading into the last parts of this, which is fine. Like again, I think that this whole trial has been absolutely crazy. It's been mind-boggling. It's actually like made my brain melt in some ways. But like honestly, that's not always a bad thing. I'm excited to see what the next trial after this is going to be as well. But obviously, like my whole goal here is just to get Maki free from prison. That's it. Thank you so much to the Never Can Repay the Baby Gangsters, Typhara 2, JB Bull, Jan the Banana, Normal Kara, The Ghost of Inazuma, Felicious Felix, George Candelaria, Eskun, Yuled, Radish, Fruity, Orange Bang, Summer Oasis, Jeff Trap, Anusta, Ciabatta Bread, and Malcolm Conde. And I'll see you guys very soon. Bye bye.